welcome to Ladies Talking Leafs. I'm Chris.
And I'm Sil.
Start off the show with a rattle from the 1993 playoff rattle. Anyways, hope our listeners are enjoying the first few games of the Stanley Cup playoffs. I know that these crowds are insane in the U.S. I don't know about you, Sil, like what you're thinking about that, but it just seems there's only like up to, let's say, 9,000 people there. Mm-hmm. And it sounds like there's 20,000 people in those arenas, but I don't know.
Well, they're probably still using the crowd noise that they normally do use. So to bump it up a little bit, maybe.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. But anyways, we don't have any people obviously in our buildings, but hopefully for our Leafs, who knows? Maybe it'll happen for us. I don't know. But to start off the show today, we just want to let you know the results of our poll questions, which were something new for the playoffs. We're doing every game day for the playoffs. We're going to have a question, and be sure to follow us on our social media and put in your vote. Our handle is at LTL1917.
Yeah, so for game one, the question we had was, will Freddie Andersen get in a game in round one? And the results for this were pretty close, but it was a 60-40 split in the yes column. So, 60-40 split, no. So most people thought that he wouldn't get in to a game. So far, Jack Campbell's looked pretty good. So we'll see if that comes to fruition. But yeah, like what's your personal thought on this, Chris?
I don't know. Chris Johnston, it was funny the way he mentioned it on the Saturday night, I think it was. He said that there may be the possibility on the back-to-back that he gets in with Freddie, but I actually felt sorry for Freddie. They actually showed him once in the sitting there as the backup. I just not used to seeing his face there as the backup. But
no, but you know when he was when Jack Campbell was over on the bench, though, I saw him smiling. So
did you?
Yeah, he looked. I actually made a point of noting that he was smiling, so he looked comfortable. He looked like he was okay. He didn't look sad or forlorn or anything.
No, I'm sure he's
and he's a supportive guy. I'm sure they're a team.
Yeah. No, for sure. So I don't know. Maybe he'll get in, but it was. I thought actually it would have been like our poll was 60-40. I thought it would have been a lot more like closer to like 90% that people thought he would not be going in. So it's kind of interesting that way as to...
Yeah, I did not expect it to be that close either. So, but I mean, Jack Campbell's looking pretty good so far. There was a couple of little missteps, but in game one, but last night he looked pretty darn good. And even though we had those periods where he didn't get a lot of action, I was a little bit concerned about that, but he still showed up nicely, and our defense played a lot better too in front of him yesterday. So,
yeah. And our game number 2 question that we had on the poll: will the adversity experienced by the Leafs in game 1 help them get back on track and get in the win column for game number 2? So that one was actually quite positive. 90% thought that we would win that game. And I love the whole hashtag win it for JT on the on social media, and I hope that really continues with the team, the win it for JT for the series, not just for that game number 2. But yeah, I mean, I was glad to see that Leafs Nation was positive sort of thing, like to get that vibe from them, because we're always obviously from so many past experiences that haven't been great. We're always tend to be a bit more worried or negative, but yeah, I thought it was pretty good. What did you think about the 90% for that?
Yeah, I was happy to see that, like you said. And I think, that is, Leafs Nation, we're an extension of the team. And I really feel like the team, that's the attitude that they had, that they wanted to win it for him. And I actually love what Spezza said last night about how they really want to win it for him and win the series for him so that he can get back into the lineup, where he belongs. So, that's, I do. That made me feel a lot better, seeing that everyone was feeling a little bit more positive about the whole situation there. And that was obviously good to see that everybody was feeling good going into that game, and not super, super stressed. So, which, obviously we've had in the past. So when we've had something go wrong, anyway, so again, you can find our playoff poll every game day on all our social media platforms. So be sure to follow us at LTL1917 and give us your vote. We've got a lot to get into with what's gone on in the series so far. So without any further ado, let's talk Leafs. Okay, so we're going to get into it. Starting off with the thing that, unfortunately, we really wish we weren't going to be talking about, but the JT injury and how that all rolled out in game one. So it was, I don't know, for me, it was quite horrific to see him like that, especially when he tried to get up and he couldn't get up. And I don't know why Sportsnet was showing it over and over and over again. Like, really, like you really needed to show it that much. But for me, being a hockey mom, the first thing I thought of was him in his Maple Leaf betting, and how this is like obviously his dream. And the first thing I thought of was that dream is done for him for this year. So no, for sure, it's done. I think as well. I can't see him coming back. I don't even know next year too. Like it might be something like the way Sidney Crosby took that whole year off years ago. Hopefully not. Cross our fingers. Well, I mean, by all accounts, from what they've said in the reports, he's got the knee injury also, which we'll get into in a second. But but the concussion, obviously, they don't really have a timeline for it. But he could recover. Like it depends how far we go. Because he's got no structural damage, there's not as much danger, I guess. So as long as the concussion symptoms abate, then he could be back this year. Which I the way he got rocked, I'm like completely blown away that he is doing as well as he is. So it's funny. I heard Damian Cox tweeted out actually that. For all of 10 minutes, the Leafs had their full lineup for this year. God. It's like, I know, that's crazy, eh? Yeah. Like, it's like, hope you enjoyed it. It's like, oh my God. Like not to take away, obviously, for like, it was a horrific thing, but it's just crazy how we never really have had a full lineup with everybody in there. And I like the fact, I was trying to think to myself, who is going to, like, there's nobody going to be able to replace him, obviously, right? As that caliber of player. Like, there's just, I think he's another one that you take it for granted, like the way we've been saying all season with Austin Matthews, the way he's just a scoring machine and just doing what he does every game. And we celebrate as we tried to keep in our mind to celebrate that, but John Tavares was even more, let's just say, in the background, because he's a pro and he just goes about his business and he just does it every game. And he's like the rock of consistency, like really, it's like, that's why that's such a huge piece that's missing. Yeah. And the person though, that I think that can possibly at least, he seems to have elevated his game a little bit, and he's also a leader, is Jason Spezza. He, I think, has come into a little bit of a light here with Tavares going down. So yeah. And but I actually think they didn't play that bad in that game, considering. They were actually they played great. Yeah, considering. So it was that game sort of, obviously it took some time for them to recalibrate and settle down. And I really couldn't wait for that intermission to come because I just thought they needed to just be off the ice and get into the room and just be able to talk to each other because even just seeing everybody on the bench, they just looked horrified. So I can't even imagine. And it was just so, the fact that there were no fans there also made it even more like, you could hear what's going on the ice, which normally we don't hear as much. And it was really, really, really horrible. So
it was a bizarre night too, because to have 3 puck over glass penalties.
No, I know.
Game,
that's why I think that no matter, even though it was they regrouped and everything, but they still weren't right that whole game. Like that kind of stuff never happens. It never has happened. So
exactly.
It's not going to happen again either. But, I think that it took some time for them to regroup. They still took it to them for a lot of the game. I think that even Montreal in some ways was sort of a little bit taken aback because they settled down too, because the thing that caused the whole thing was their reckless hitting. They came out hitting, which is great, but I would just every single hit that any guy was throwing and finishing, they were leaving their feet. So they were really reckless. And I really believe, and I know other people have said this, but I like to believe I said it first before anybody got on the air, is that Chariot was the one who caused that whole thing by his hit to his knee, made him fall awkwardly in a vulnerable position. Perry's coming down the ice and can't get out of the way. That wouldn't have happened if that reckless hitting was not going on.
Yeah.
And so
Sherratt needs to have a visit from the Wayne train, and that will happen. I think he tried to visit him in game number 2.
Mm-hmm.
But more importantly, we have to be winning the game and winning the series sort of thing.
100%.
So I'm sure Sherratt will get a visit from, it doesn't matter who it is, whether it be even Bogosian, Muzzin, Wayne Simmons. We got a lot of, I don't think Montreal realizes that, they can try and do this, trying to run us through the boards or whatever, but we're a different team too. We have different players, veteran players, and this is our 5th time now with this, let's say the core young group. They know what it's about too, like Matthews, Marner,
Nylander. And that showed because they tried to get him to buy into it and take a stupid retaliatory penalty too, and we didn't bite. So they know what's at stake, and they're not going to do anything stupid. And I think that that's a pretty bad strategy if that's what you think you need to do to get us off our game. Because look what happened, in game 2, Montreal spent the night in the penalty box, giving us lots of practice time on our power play. So it's not a good strategy. So I actually think that they'll make adjustments also on Monday. Montreal will. So I kind of think that they're going to take a little bit of a different tack because that was really undisciplined on their part on Saturday night.
Yeah. And so, after JT got injured, I think the fact that we had the 3 former captains like Spezza, Foligno, and Thornton in our lineup, it really showed in that game anyways, to basically once we got to the intermission, I think as a group, those 3 guys being former captains, they definitely calmed the group down, and obviously they were just waiting to make sure JT was okay. But all those guys, I think, really helped to have that veteran leadership. And let's just talk about actually some of these players going into overall in the games, the different players' performance, starting. I don't know. I'm amazed at Jason Spezza, so I want to start with him. The guy is 37 years old, and
he's looking spry out there, eh?
Oh yeah, I think he must. They all know they're coming to their last opportunity for a cup, right? Obviously, you only get so many chances, and I don't know. It's going to be tough without Tavares to get that, but. anyhow, he obviously he's taken it on some, like with the additional leadership. I just think it was great in game 2 how he got us on the board and to tie the game up. And he's just taking it to another level. I think he should get more ice time. He's only getting, I was looking before we came on, I was looking at the ice times for some of the players, and it's funny, a lot of them, the only one that was ridiculous was in game 1 was Marner, where he got 27 minutes because of the stupid penalties, the puck over glass penalties, and he plays on the PK. But
well, except for the one that he caused, which he was in the box for, so he got a little bit of a 2-minute rest there.
I guess so.
But that just even shows how much time he played. You know,
27 minutes though. He was over 27 minutes. That was insane. Like,
and that's not even an overtime game.
Yeah, he should not be like. But I mean, going back to Spezza, he had in game 2 he had 12 minutes, and I think he had about the same in game 1. But I don't know. I just think I'm thinking like they should get him in there a little bit more. The fact that he seems to be like he's taking on more of the leadership role, and he just seems to have that, I don't know how you'd say it, the energy or the adrenaline.
But
I don't know.
The question is though, will he have that same energy if they give him more ice time? Like, is the fact that they limit his ice somewhat, like, have they maybe found a sweet spot for him? Like, could it be that if he plays more, it will take more out of him and he'll be less effective? I mean, there is that question also, you know?
Maybe. Or the other thing is, because, I mean, he's playing 12 minutes. Like, I thought when JT was out, like, they put Kerfoot in there. Kerfoot's actually been playing really well.
No, and he played great last night. That line was really, really motoring.
Yeah, with Willie and Galchenyuk. But I was thinking actually that they would put Spezza up there on the second line, because Kerfoot played about 15 minutes.
No, but Kerfoot played last night though with Engvall and Mikheyev. They had Foligno on the second line.
Oh, sorry. I didn't even notice Foligno. That's the thing.
That might not be a bad thing.
I don't know if that's good or bad. I thought for sure I saw him Kerfoot with Willie.
Well,
I don't know, all night.
You know what? They have their lines and everything, but they're with different transitions and stuff. Like, they could have been on the ice together at certain times. Power plays and stuff,
or maybe I was shaking my playoff rattle too much. Who knows? Right? And I was just like, because I was screaming at the TV screen too much. Anyways, I liked Kerfoot's game, so I didn't. But he only played wherever he played. He only played 15 minutes, and I thought to myself, Spezza could take maybe a couple of shifts away, so I think get him up to 13 minutes. Like, I don't know, but maybe like you're saying, maybe that's the sweet spot for Spezza. Maybe they have maybe Keefe has a good thing going there. But but yeah. So I mean, I liked his game.
I mean, he's getting time though in important situations, you know, in important face-offs.
Oh yeah.
In power play time. So, you know, he's going to be used. Like, that's where I think his extra time will come. Like, not with a regular shift necessarily, but with additional moments like that where we need something to create something. So he was incredible in the face-offs last night. Also, So. Yeah, I kind of feel like that is, to me, as much as, you know, you see that energy and that desire and you're like, you can only use more of that on the ice. I still think that his presence on the bench is always felt also. So even though he's not, you know, necessarily always, you know, on the ice
for sure.
with time,
like his leadership. Yeah.
So I think that he's definitely always going to be involved in big moments, though, in this series, without a doubt.
And I thought Simmons was much better in game number 2 than game 1. I didn't notice him too much, but game number 2, he was up to his best chirping there of the players. And
but don't we want to see more from him than just that, though? Like, I kind of feel like, you know, part of the reason that we were so excited to get him is because he is a guy that does those things and provides that energy and provides that leadership, but he also, and toughness, but he also can score, and that has kind of dropped off a little bit. So I think personally, I would like to see a little bit more from Simmons in that regard as more of an offensive threat. But I wonder if he needs to be used differently for that, or I don't know.
Well, he's on the PK a little bit, but because he's on the second PK, he doesn't get obviously
PK or power play unit.
Or power play. Sorry.
Yeah.
He's not in. He doesn't get that much time on it because he's at the end. And but I don't know. I was happy with him last night. I'm happy just with the physicality because we haven't had a player like that in such a long time who. Like when he bowled over Josh Anderson there, that was my night. Yeah. I was just like, that is beautiful. Yeah. And then the other part was when Matthews basically told Gallagher to get out of his way and just bowled over him. That was another beautiful moment that I enjoyed very much. And we have not seen that in quite some time in our game. Just those little instances. Like it doesn't have to be all the time like the way the Habs are doing it. But, but yeah, no, I mean, yes, Simmons being that net, I can see what you're saying though, like being more in the net front presence, like maybe tip in a goal, that sort of thing, or getting the eyes of the goalie. Yeah, he can probably do better with that. And then of course, speaking of Austin Matthews, what did you think of him?
Oh my God, he was a beast last night, and yeah, he was just everywhere. Like I really like the chances that he has and the stuff that almost doesn't go in. Like I don't know if there's a guy in the league that has as many posts as him. Like every game, like it's pretty incredible. I think that we haven't even seen the best of him yet in this series. But yeah, that was really that goal was like, again, like so fast that I'm thankful that we have replay because every time he scores, you really need to see the replay to see that it went in, right? So,
it's funny. There's
and like you said, like his physicality is so much better. He's really good in the faceoffs. Also, his basically his two-way game is right there. So.
Yeah, it was funny. I've been noticing on social media a lot of references to 1967 and good references, actually. So in game 2, Matthews had a 3-point night last night, and that's the first time that's happened for a Leaf player in a playoff game versus Montreal since 1967, that he actually had 3 points, a player like that. So, yeah, my highlight too. I mean, I am a little worried when he does make the hits because that's not what we want him for. But when he does, he seems to be enjoying it. Actually, he's
100%.
So that's a good thing. But I just want to make sure obviously we need him healthy and just to keep on doing what he's doing because he's definitely a machine out there. That's for sure. And then. Going back just to the ice time thing with Nylander, William Nylander. Like I don't know. I thought he was playing good last night on the Saturday night.
He played great both nights.
I mean, he had, but some people are complaining about him on social media. But
you don't even go there because there's people that hate Willie no matter what. So there's those people, the Twitter people, like. They are his haters, and no matter what he does, that he's never going to be able to do anything that they like. So it's pointless.
Yeah, but anyhow, he played in game number 2. Willie played 16:40, and he had 4 minutes of power play time. So basically, if you didn't have that power play time, you'd only be at 12 minutes.
Yeah,
I thought to myself, again, that's not enough for that caliber of player. I mean,
I agree with that.
And I just think, and then you look at the ice time. I looked at the ice time of obviously the top line with Matthews and Marner. Like they were a bit more down to earth. They were like just over 22 minutes for the night. But I'm like, what is it to just, like Keith said, he's not into line matching so much. Like
no, I think what he does more is he kind of sees, depending on where we are in the game, what line is being effective, and he'll tend to play them more. Like, I actually think he played the third line more, Kerfoot, Engvall, Mikheyev in instances. Be interesting to see what their ice time was in comparison, but I kind of feel like that's what he does. So that probably took that away. Maybe it's also because that was the first day that they had put together Foligno at center and Nylander and Galchenyuk. That was Galchenyuk's first game, and they had never played together before. So to kind of give them a little bit more time to acclimate and as opposed to putting them out too much and making them a little bit more vulnerable like that. I think that maybe gives them a little bit more time to get used to each other and to see how Foligno was, because remember last year when they put Nylander in on center, and it was a really hard adjustment. So maybe Keefe's learning from that and is like, okay, I'm not going to put these guys into too much harm's way and hold back on them a little bit, just because Foligno hasn't been a centerman for a while, and he's never played with these two guys in that situation. So maybe that's part of the reason.
Yeah, we'll see, I guess, as it goes on, right? Mm-hmm. And now they're not going to get I have difficulty thinking of home ice, because it's like, to me, it makes no difference whether they're playing here or there or whatever. But they won't have the last change in Montreal. But but yeah, so we'll see how it goes, I guess, as the series goes on. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so the only other, I guess, on the D, I guess Sandin, he's just been like he got caught on that shorthanded goal in game number 1.
Yeah, but that wasn't really his fault, though. It's just the only fault I would say is that if Riley was there, Riley's probably faster than him and maybe would have got back a little bit better. And more experienced also too. So there's that. Yeah. But that was really Joe Thornton's fault. Yeah. Bobbling that in the offensive zone. So,
and that game, I don't know why, but I do know why. I just think that it was a washout because of that whole Tavares incident. I just think that we to lose it only 2-1. It was just like, I thought that was really good. We did dominate for the majority of that game 1. Yeah. Regardless, like when we came out in the second period, we looked like ourselves, and we had so many chances. And Carey Price had an amazing game that night too. He played incredible. So it's just one of those things. Plus the whole situation. That made it much difficult. But I have to give Keefe credit for going back and putting Sandin in again and letting him, get his confidence back. And boy, did he get his confidence back. And I know I've said it before, but he has a shot, and he can really, really find spots to get it through, which was incredible to see. But do you know who gives him that confidence? Why don't you tell me? It's William Nylander.
I know. Willie said that he learned it from him. Yeah, I heard that.
I thought
you gotta love that, eh?
Oh, Willie Styles.
Yep.
Willie Styles, right? That is just the perfect comment from that guy. Yeah. I don't know. He just loves all of it, but he loves the attention, that guy, right? And he's smiling away. But
well, you know what? Anyhow. If the thing about Willie is that, like we talked about the people that are, he's got no shortage of haters out there, but he doesn't let that stuff get to him. He has confidence in himself, and he believes in himself. And if he's passing that on to young Sandin, then more power to him for instilling that same kind of feeling of confidence and self-worth. Because you know what? If nobody else is going to believe in you, you need to believe in yourself. So I'm all for that. Anyway, it's going to be interesting to see how things go with the back-to-back coming on Monday and Tuesday, and what Keefe is going to do, and also what the Habs will do with their lineup. Like, could Cole Caulfield come in like they brought in Kotkaniemi? Like, is that kind of thing going to happen? Like, they need some goals, obviously. So I mean, I don't know. I guess they're still going to continue with this
idea that they have to run us at every opportunity, run us through the boards.
With that, I say more power to you. Keep on doing that, because that's not a recipe for them to win. So let's get into talking about the Habs a little bit more then. So we all know, like you said, that their plan is to basically run us at every opportunity. It didn't work so well for them in game 2, and they spent most of the time in the box. So
yeah. And I mean, they're giving us lots of, you mentioned before, like they're giving us lots of practice time to get our power play going. We've looked good in both games, actually. Game 1, we were 0 for 4.
Yeah.
And then, and then we were 2 for 5 yesterday. But I mean, if they continue to take penalties, like that's just, like that's going to kill them basically, because eventually we are going to score. And I don't know what else. Other than Cole Caulfield on their side, I don't know who else they really, like, is a guy like that who has had dipped his toe into the NHL at the end of the season. Is that the guy that's going to be your savior? Like, I don't know. No, like, to me, he reminds me, like, the way he sort of has come in a little bit about when Kasperi Kapanen played his first year with us, and he got called up towards the end of the season, played a few games, and he was like incredible with those breakaways and stuff, and did the same in the first round of the playoffs and looked really great. To me, it's a similar situation. So like, but he didn't end up doing anything. He didn't make it so that we won that series. So yeah. The other thing is, though, it is playoff hockey, and I don't think he's matured enough to take the physicality of the game. I don't know how. I mean, he's a fast player. Obviously, he's fast and skilled. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how he does
if he gets in. Yeah,
if he does get in. But yeah, no. I mean, I don't think he's like some huge game changer for the Habs. Their bottom line, their hope is Carey Price.
Yeah.
Is that and what we have to do, though, I mean, I'm sorry, I can't, like, if Carey Price, that's fine if he stands on his head again for another game, but there's no way that we can say that we're being out-goalied again.
No,
this
for sure.
whole thing about being out-goalied is like, forget that, because if we remember back in 93 in those playoffs with Curtis Joseph being in St. Louis net, don't you remember those nights? He was stopping like over 60, close to 70 shots.
Yeah.
And we still won that series in 7. We still got through there. So really it's about the will at that point.
For sure. And right? Even like on our side, Felix Potvin, he was a rookie. That was his first playoffs, but he had some bad nights, where he let in 6 goals, and we still found that team still found a way to win. Because I think you said this earlier, that we just need our goalies, whoever is in net. If it's going to be Jack Campbell all the way, that's great. But he just needs to not let in that last one. So we need them to save that last one. And it doesn't matter if it's if we win 6-5.
Yeah.
He just doesn't need to be the one letting in that 6.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, exactly.
And our forwards need to score. And that's why last night I loved it, because that was definitive. It wasn't a 3-2 squeaker. It wasn't a nail bite till the end. Are we going to win? Are we going to lose? No, it was definitive. It was a very comfortable win. They did not look like they even broke much of a sweat last night to me. So I was feeling pretty calm. And to me, that's a good sign, because last year, compared to the roller coaster we went through, this last night did not look like that at all. Didn't feel like it.
Yeah. The only thing last night, I thought that I was at the end of when they had that 6-on-5 for so long when they pulled the goalie.
Yeah.
I thought that was a little bit too long. And the only other thing I'm hoping that Dominic Ducharme, the head coach of the Habs, doesn't try is that stupid challenge again, because I'm thinking that was just because he wanted his players to rest.
I don't know about that. I actually think that Bergevin was the one who wanted them to challenge that, because if
you didn't see
that?
Did see, yes,
yeah, him pointing like, what's that? I'm like, honestly, anyway, it was a poor move on their part.
Oh, God.
That's not going to happen again either.
No. So.
They tried that. So
yeah, they tried.
It failed. They tried and failed.
It's funny though, because apparently the league had the Minnesota Vegas game. I guess it was at the same
that's
time.
Why it took so long. Yeah. They had
one of the
challenges
reasons why
going.
They said, yeah, which is odd. Again, the two would happen at the same time, but I don't think they should be trying that again, unless they want to keep giving us power play practice time.
Yeah, but even when you're mentioning that, when there was towards the end of the game, when it was that they were going 6-on-5 for so long, to me, they weren't looking like they were that much of a threat though during that. Like, I wasn't that worried. I wasn't feeling worried. Yeah. So I think that, RD was much improved in that game. So if we can, hang on and do that again, for the next three, then I think we're going to be looking good.
Yeah.
So we'll see how the series goes on. And we are recording this on a Sunday. And obviously we know that a lot of things can change in the next few days. But we are hopeful that we're going to be on the other side of this thing next time we talk to you guys.
Yeah, so before we go, just a reminder to check out our previous episode for our playoff preview. We do have a lot of good stuff in there. And also be sure to, again, participate in our playoff game day polls. We want to get the pulse of Leafs Nation, and we look forward to sharing the poll results with you.
And also, you all know we love hearing from you and our social media followers. So if you have a poll question that you would like us to consider for a future game, by all means, DM us and you might see your question used on our social media on game day. Also, if you have any thoughts on what we talked about the show, also get in touch with us, or you can email us at ladiestalkingleafs@gmail.com. Be sure to follow us on all our social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Our handle is at LTL1917.
And another way to connect with us is at Ko-fi.com. That's ko-fi.com. You can follow us there. And if you choose to, you can also support us there and buy us a coffee. Any donation goes towards helping us produce the show and making it even better for you. Find the link to our Ko-fi page on our show notes or in any of our social media profile pages. As always, thank you to our healthcare workers. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel for this pandemic. And thank you, though, for everything that you do. Stay safe and well, everybody. And
go Leafs, go!